Hey there, folks. First video of the new year. Happy New Year, and let's let's see how this one turns out. Um, just wanted to bring up a couple of points with this video. For starters, um, I've closed my books. I'm not taking any new orders for either for repair work or new work until such time as I've caught up with my backlog. And you've all been very patient, but um, things are just taking a little bit longer because the nature of my day job has changed a little bit. I'm working far harder and rather for longer, and frankly, I'm getting a little bit older. I'm no longer able to get up at 4:30 in the morning and sew for 3 hours and then go to the day job and come home and sew for another 5 or 6 hours. Although having said that, it's 6 in the evening and I'm probably going to go for another 3 hours. So yeah, so things are taking a little bit longer, and thank you for your patience. The other matter is because I keep finding ways that I can improve, I consider that I can improve my methods. And to be the phrase that occurred to me is slow fashion just got a little bit slower, because in this particular case where I'm sewing a kilt in a variation of the Seaforth Centennial tartan, the color palette is as I devised for the regimental tartan that commemorates the, sorry, that was a bug, that commemorates the raising of the regiment in 1910, but we've altered the scale a little bit. We've made it smaller. And because normally the size of the set is quite large. It's about 11 inches from point to point. This is about 7 inches. And we did this for a couple of reasons. As much as anything, because if I make a kilt in the Mackenzie tartan in this town, because the Seaforths are garrisoned in Vancouver, 1st Battalion's in Vancouver, no matter how beautifully I cut the thing, it's gonna kind of look like a regimental, like an army surplus kilt, no matter how beautifully I do. So we changed the scale a little bit, so it's more manifestly, more obviously, not a regimental kilt. I am sewing it to the old standard. In fact, if anything, I've increased the standard. We're going to have 31 pleats, very, very narrow pleats, so it's going to hang extremely, it's going to drape extremely well. A word though, when you yourself are sewing a kilt with narrow pleats, there's not a terrific lot of taper here. These are the difference in taper from the waist to the seat is about 16th of an inch. It's not a great deal. It's about the width of a piece of chalk line. And because that taper is so gradual, it's rather more difficult than otherwise to make sure it's absolutely straight, because when they're that narrow, if you vary on your hand sewn seam by as much as a yarn, the white line wiggles a bit. And frankly, to my eye at least, I can see it from across the room, and it's simply unacceptable. So this kilt is taking a little bit longer because, as careful as I am, I'm finding that I'll sew a seam and it's not quite right, so I just have to pull it out and do it again. It's almost as though when I do an episode, when I sit down and work for a little while, the first seam on this, because I think I did 11 seams the first day, then took a break and came back and did 2, and then I had to redo those 2 because it seemed I needed to warm up a little bit. So we're going to maintain the if anything, we're going to increase the level of workmanship and skill and everything else. But yeah, so there's something to consider about it. If you're sewing thin seams, or thin pleats, is that you may well have to get back and do it again if it's not right the first time. So there you are. Thank you very much. Carry on being nice to each other, and let's work through this whole COVID thing. Thank you.